win!
Confident which I am, I couldn't resist a bit of verbal sparring with him until he finally revealed what he wanted from me.
My daughter Cirilla, she's returned, and she's in danger. The Wild Hunt pursues her.
His demand was simple, but very heavy. Find his daughter, Ciri. She trusted only Yennefer and me, and that made us his only hope. Since Ciri is like her daughter to us as well, we accepted. Together with Yennefer, we aligned our next steps, tracing the path from the Emperor's merchants had uncovered. My first destination would be Velen, where a man named Hendrik might hold clues. The second, Novigrad, where Triss, our old flame, had made herself a home in the city main square. Meanwhile, Yennefer would sail to Skellige. Drawn by a magical explosion, she was certain was tied to Ciri. With the plan set, we were ready to depart. At least, almost, because here I had to bend one of my own rules. The map, something I swore to ignore, was now unavoidable. Some parts of the story simply forced it to use. So for these rare moments, I allow myself to use it, only to move between regions when necessary, never to guide me in the world itself. And so, with a fresh purpose, crucial information, and the bended rule, we left Vizima behind. Ahead lay the first true step of our journey, the war-torn lands of Velen. Arriving here, I couldn't help to marvel at the endless landscape. I ran along the southern path for what felt like an hour, hyped by the sheer size of the region. In my first playthrough, I had been too glued to the minimap to notice half of it, but this time, everything felt new. I had no idea where Hendrik was hiding, so I drifted through the villages, until a tavern innkeeper told me he lived behind the hill and that he has seen a strange glow at dawn. My first instinct, climb at the rooftops, scan the horizon, even meditate until the morning to catch the glimpse of the glow. But nothing, not even close. Instead, every path that I followed dragged me straight into camps of monsters and bosses I absolutely wasn't ready for. Brute forcing my way up every hill, convinced it might be the hill, I ended up far south at the abandoned snowy village, nowhere near I should have been. The innkeeper's direction made no sense, but eventually I scrapped together a clue about a baron and the witch in the swamps. At least the baron's keep was visible even from the tavern, so I headed there. The baron confirmed Ciri had been at his keep. She escaped the swamps with a girl named Greta. But of course, he wouldn't spill all the details without a favor, finding his missing wife and daughter. Everyone around him claimed to know nothing, until I picked up a medallion, a gift from Apella. Where he was? No clue. And that's where my nightmare truly began. I searched the entire south, east and even north, right up to Oxenfurt. Dozens of accidental side quests fell into my lap while I was just trying to get back on track. Why not to the west, you ask? Because I found the swamps east from the Baron's Keep. My only hints were at this point, Ciri fled a swamp and Apella lived in the woods. Made sense, right? Wrong. After exploring half of Velen, the Apella turned out to be right behind the next village west of the Baron's Keep. When I finally found him, saved his goat and revealed the Baron's wife was pregnant and that the spirit or blood of the buried stillborn child might lead us to her. On my way back to the Baron, I got lost. Again. And somehow stumbled into Kiram Eds. There I at least found a thread about Ciri. A masked elf had tried to trade something with her, but vanished. Thankfully this time, the game spared me the hunt. With Kira I was portaled straight into the Elven runes, where the Wild Hunt was already searching. Through holographic messages, we learned more about Ciri's path. Killed a Wild Hunt rider and Kira hinted at another lead. The Crones of Crookback Bog. But back to the Baron. Armed with news about the child and his wife, I choose to kill the cursed child outright. I returned with the blood to the Apella, completed his ritual, who pointed me then towards two men named Wojtek. Hours of wandering later, I finally found the fisherman Wojtek near a village I must have crossed 50 times already. The night they fled, he saved Tamara, the daughter, and smuggled her to Oxenfurt. But Anna, the wife, had been dragged into the woods by a monster. Again back to the Baron. More bargaining and more fragments about Ciri. But now I was so done with this endless chase that I flat out told him to go to hell. He returned the favor. Fuck you! But still, he gave me a pass to Oxenfurt and Novigrad if I changed my mind to look out for his daughter. And if you think this is where things got easier, oh no. The game seemed determined to troll me. Suddenly everywhere I looked were clues Wojtek described. Headless horses, traces of fights, and way too much more dead ends. Hours later, I ran into a cursed tree whispering promise to kill the Crones if I set him free. I killed it. On the spot, hoping that would trigger progress. Small spoiler, it didn't. Instead, after yet another round of frustration, I accidentally triggered a cutscene by reading an old quest letter in my inventory at the chapel in the swamps, not far from the tree. Hours wasted, all because the game decided that this was a hidden trigger. From there, I met the children in the swamps, the voiceless godling Johnny, and finally the crones themselves. They revealed Anna was tied to them with a mark on her hand. The Baron's wife, enslaved, at last, pieces fell together. I told the Baron. He begged me to help him save her. And at first, I refused again because I had my final information about Ciri and that she went to Novigrad. But in the end, I gave in. At the chapel, we confronted the Eternal Fire fanatics, Tamara among them, openly disowned her father, and we freed Anna. But her mind was broken, shattered under the crone's grip. The Baron took her, swearing to find a cure. And with that, Valen's chapter finally closed. 8 pages of madness, 3 or 4 mental breakdowns, countless time lost. But maybe, in some twisted way, this is what being a Witcher really feels